This episode is brought to you by MEXC Crypto Trading Platform. With the wild swings we're experiencing in these crypto markets, why not take advantage of the wide range of cryptos to actually trade on MEXC? Find your next moonshot and never miss another crypto gem again. And use the link below and I'll airdrop you $25 worth of Bitcoin. Visit MEXC.com for more information. Link in the description below.
This my two Satoshis, who need 2 cents when they can get double from stacking Toshis, yeah.
Hola, GNGs. I am Trek for 2Ks. This is my two Satoshis, brought to you on CBTV. And so, let me start off by saying thank you for the folks who've been tapping in. Thank you for the folks who've been leaving the up mark. You know what I'm saying. The thumbs up, there we go. Thank you for the folks who even do the thumbs down. Thank you for the folks, thank you for the persons who are doing the scamming with that, what is it? The joint where like they talk about investing in a thing, the scams, those scams, and then to be like 23 other people talking about, yeah, me too, I made money, blah, blah, blah. Folks, stay away from those. Stay away from those. If you see a WhatsApp number in the chat, stay away from those. They scamming and it's only increasing. But I appreciate y'all because on the algo side of it, it looks like there's activity going on the channel. Nonetheless, though, I appreciate the folks who are watching and tapping into mine, as well as the other folks too who are doing stuff on the channel. And so if you don't know about how this works, the basic idea is go through some articles and things that are related to crypto, that are not related to crypto, and I give my, let's say, interpretation, or better yet, my two Satoshis on how I read these things. And hopefully some of what I say actually is of benefit and gives you some type of insight of things that you should or you could be more aware of. How about that? I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to think. I'm just some guy on the internet. Nonetheless, let's jump into this first story. All right, so I seen this one. Now, sometimes some of the stories I tap on are like new, but by the time you see them, they're old, or they might be older already, but no one was talking about it when it came out, so that's why I bring it up. This one caught my attention today because it was like, wait, China makes a comeback in Bitcoin mining scene? How? I don't know how they became aware of this organization called the CCAF, the writer over at Crypto Slate. But I'm reading you this first line where it's like, new Bitcoin mining data from the Cambridge Center of Alternative Finance has revealed that China has resurfaced as a leading mining hub. It doesn't mean they're the number one. It means that they're in like the leading groups of. They're not the number one as a, right? Okay, I was reading it down. This section doesn't necessarily matter because they're talking about the way that they drop things in 2021 to now. But this section, so explaining how China has rebounded as a leading Bitcoin mining hub. This strongly suggests that significant underground mining activity has formed in the country, which empirically confirms what industry insiders have long been assuming. Access to off-grid electricity and geographical saturated small-scale operations are among the major means used by underground miners to hide their operations from authorities, circumvent the ban. So part of this statement reads like they are guessing. It is more than likely they did not actually go anywhere to actually visually verify what they're basically concluding. What they're doing is, and it came out later on in this, basically what the author brings up in this story is that they're using a method to aggregate the data. So they don't walk outside of a lab, they don't walk outside of a building, they're more than likely just sitting really in front of a laptop and like crunching numbers with a software. They're not actually going out to the countries, they're not necessarily talking to people who are actually in the industry. They're just crunching numbers based on what they can read in the miner activity online. That's it. And what they're saying is, for how their metric, their system is, it looks like China is on the come up and maybe moving back into the number one position. Because I don't understand the metric that they're using, but because it's like leverage aggregated information, I don't trust it as to say this proves that, because they haven't actually gone out to verify what they're saying these numbers indicate. Just throwing it out there though, for all I know, in another, like the end of summertime, this might be the real for real. Who knows? If you've been to any of the conferences, the mining thing is definitely here. It's on the wave right now. So if you can get into the hardware company, if you can get to doing it yourself, if you can get into something that's related to, as far as you might want a new job or something, and you want to get into a new industry, the mining thing is happening. It is popping here in the States and X amount of other countries. So jumping into this next story, this one, I heard it, I think it was yesterday when I first heard it. And the way I interpret this, and I understand the thing of cybersecurity and things along that nature. I 100% understand that. But I'm always leery of when people use, especially because of how I see the space and take the whole thing of open source technology and things being permissionless. I'm always leery of how people use worst case scenarios to tell you why they should either exclude, they should either deter, they should either ostracize or do other negative exclusionary things to someone else or another group of people, especially when it comes to this space, because it is, to me, a very slippery slope. It doesn't mean that cybersecurity doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that there aren't threats out there. It doesn't mean that there aren't more effective ways of being able to determine how to mitigate these issues. It's just my interpretation of how I've seen the slippery slope of whatever subjective reasoning you can come up with and get enough people to agree with. Like it's a slippery slope, and history shows us that all the time. But nonetheless, let's just get through a couple of these highlighted lines. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has alerted the general public and businesses against unwittingly hiring North Korean IT workers. So basically they're saying that we need to let y'all know you can't hire certain people. In particular, you can't hire Koreans who have IT experience and are applying probably for an IT job. Or they might not even be applying for the IT job. They could just be North Korean. I'm gonna say this after I read a couple more lines. What is it? In a joint statement released with the U.S. Department of Treasury and the Department of State, the federal agency stated that doing so could result in sanctions from the U.S., from the UN, and the U.S. and reputable damage. Basically, it's, hey, you're going to be on the no-no list because you talked to somebody that we're not cool with. That's the bottom line of it. That's it. Now, again, like I've been saying this for how long? If the technology is open source and it is permissionless, then where do you draw the line on who can and can't use it? How do you draw the line on who can and can't use it? So basically what they're trying to say in this, right, is we're warning you against hiring North Koreans who are IT professionals, because what they do is they take their paychecks and they send it back to the country called North Korea, and it funds their military operations, their government stuff. No one's talking about, hey, maybe they just send the money back to their family who's like living in squalor, right? No, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the negative side of it. Again, that whole thing of justifying stuff using extreme examples. And so who's going to object to, I don't want to fund weapons of mass destruction? Hashtag remember WMDs. And who said that during whose administration? Bush 2. You can Googly that and DuckDuckGo it when you're ready. Better yet, don't even use those. You could just Brave it, because Brave browser has a search engine too. Here's the other thing. So basically, we don't want these companies to hire people who are in the IT thing, because if they get the job, they're going to do the work, and then they're going to take the money that they get and they're going to send it back to North Korea. So they did the job that they were supposed to do that they got hired for? Yeah, okay. But they give this list of like things where it's, oh, this might be questionable. So the other part is, if you're hiring people who are remote workers and they do certain things where you don't know visually what they look like, or they have multiple accounts, and they give this quick list of things, right? The FBI also mentioned cryptocurrency in its advisory, stating that some North Korean IT workers based abroad assist the country in laundering money and transferring crypto assets. Don't remember, the volume of crypto to fiat as far as money laundering, it's not the same scale. Fiat always wins. In the light of this, it called on operators of digital asset platforms to be very cautious. The advisory listed the potential red flags for North Korean IT contractor activity. These include multiple logins into one account from various IP addresses in a short time frame. Developer accounts use a fraudulent client account to increase developer account rating, refusing to participate in video calls, etc. Yeah, arguably, like, these are signs that even if it wasn't a North Korean IT person, if you're hiring someone who's doing remote work, these are blatant general things that you would look for to be like, hey, maybe this person might not be on the up in how they're doing their work. This is not specifically a North Korean IT thing. The thing that gets me with this is it leads into, like, we're going to start excluding certain people. If we're saying that this technology and this whole movement of cryptocurrencies and community is about everyone being a part and having the opportunity, what happens when people start discriminating against South Koreans because they think they're North Korean? Like, that can be a thing. Like, people are some really interesting characters, we'll say. But nonetheless, I'm gonna not beat that horse anymore. You can read up on this one if you want to. The link is gonna be in the description of it. And yeah, those are one of the things happening right now. According to the US government, certain Koreans should not be able to work at your company. Just remember, it's a slippery slope when you start doing exclusionary practices. Jumping into this last story on Zero Hedge. I covered this joint a couple of episodes back. It was like in the first 3 with this company called Too Simple that was testing out automated trucks. They officially have done it where they ran the first truck. This was X amount of months back at the tail end of last year, and it ran for over an hour and change. Nobody in the vehicle. At least that's how they're breaking it down on Zero Hedge. And they said that, like, the company worked with the transportation department and law enforcement. The pictures that they're showing in this, though, I had to, like, definitely look through them. These aren't the actual vehicles that they use to run this test. I didn't do any deep dive to actually find pictures of it, but the point being is this happened many careers ago as I was a trucker. And I remember when the old heads would be like, nah, that's never gonna happen here. Mind you, they was testing out anonymous vehicles as far as tractor trailers and heavy vehicles back in, like, before 2010, because it was going on in Australia. And hey, now it's here on the American, not even the American shore, on the American land, because this is out in the Midwest that they're doing this, right? Point being is, it's not going to come up tomorrow, right? We're not, losing the trucking jobs tomorrow, but at least by the end of the decade, this is going to be a thing on the major highways and byways of America, as well as other countries. We're not the only ones, right? Let's not play that ignorance. We are not the only ones in this, but it's just something that I had brought up a while ago, and I wanted to bring it back around. Like, this is moving forward. This is happening. 100% autonomous tractor trailers running the streets. Anywho, let me close it out. Last couple of things is, again, thanks for tapping in. You've made it all the way to the end. And so I'm letting y'all know we're doing these giveaways. One giveaway is the Oculus hard wallet. I don't have as many as I had picked up when I was in Miami because I opened most of mine, but I do have 1 or 2 that are still in the box. So that's going to be going out for people who are the paid members on the CBTV channel here on YouTube. And then the other thing that we're doing is the giveaway for the Blockchain Futurist Conference, which will be in, August the 9th and the 10th. I'm going to be in town, hanging out, chilling out with my Canucks in the North, also networking and meeting with other folks, and hopefully seeing you out there. We're doing a giveaway for tickets on that too. It will be a limited number of tickets in regards to that. But nonetheless, we trying to make these things happen for y'all and give y'all some added value besides just talking into a camera. And that's where I'm gonna leave it at. So this is my 2 Satoshis. I am Trek with 2 Ks. And this is CBTV that you find it all on. We got some other things on here too. So definitely make sure to come back. And until the next one.